Hi guys, I'm really excited to be back with Travis Edwards. So he's my coach for those who haven't realized. I've interviewed him once before, so if you haven't had the pleasure of checking that one out, go kind of see what he does. But we are kind of taking a deep dive into everything personally with me, nutrition, fitness, health. I have personally received a lot of questions, so I thought this would probably be the best avenue to answer them. Starting off, prior to Travis, had my own personal trainer, I would say maybe a year ago. The way that we would train was a lot of heavy lifting and training, but me and Travis are doing something a little bit different. So I wanted to, of course, give him an opportunity to kind of educate us on why we're doing the kind of workouts we're doing, why we're doing the food incorporation that we're doing to reach my fitness goals. So welcome.
Thank you for having me again.
Oh, my pleasure.
To touch on your question, then basically, with your previous trainer, I get what your previous trainer was doing, right? He was trying to add muscle onto your frame. But with you, what I identified quickly was that you fall into one of four body types. And so ladies tend to fall into one of four body types. And in your case, you're adrenal body type. So what that means is when you tend to put on weight, you tend to put it more in your upper body as opposed to your lower body. And your legs have probably remained shapely for your entire life. And particularly with that particular body type, you need to do high intensity training, right? And so I didn't start you exactly with that, but immediately what I started doing is started moving on to conditioning, remember, right? And so as we started branching into conditioning, your body is not used to that. It's actually a complete shock. Ultimately, I can see the differences in you already. Your body is actually starting to lean out. It's not to say that we won't go into weight later on, but right now our approach is to actually start with something that we know that works for your body type. It's that simple.
And what is that? So I'm finding when we're working out, I'm doing, before I would maybe do 100+ pound squats.
Yep.
What are we doing now?
We're doing a high volume of reps with smaller weights essentially. So we're building conditioning in your body. So we're kind of like sprinkling a hypertrophy phase or a building phase with a conditioning phase together. Because you're used to lifting so much weight, that weight is still technically heavy. For if I were to give it to any other female, you can lift weight, we know that, right? So what we're doing is we're giving you like moderate heavy weight, considered heavy weight, combined with conditioning training. And so what's happening is we're trying to actually tap into fat cells and release weight quicker. So we're not trying to add as much muscle, we're trying to release body fat percentage so that your overall shape of your body changes. So that's the approach that we're using with you.
So what I'm finding is, yes, the weight itself is lighter, but he gets me on things like, I love that you laugh for this.
I'm smiling.
He gets me on things like, okay, do 15 pounds in each hand and do squats. And I'm like, all right. And then at the end of it, he'll be like, stay at the bottom half. And I'm like, my legs are already burning, one. And then he'd be like, okay, come up from the bottom half, then go back down and pulse. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. So these are the sort of workouts that we're doing. It's not at all what I'm used to, but it is making a difference. He's getting me on like endurance,
absolutely,
which I hate, but it's making a difference.
You find you have more energy though? Or not really? You have noticed any difference?
No. I find I have more energy. I do live a very busy life. So with having more energy, I love the lifestyle that you guys at House of Sweat have allowed me to have. I understand that you guys go to people. So like no matter if you live in a condo, a home, they will come to you. So that was a big reason why I was like, oh, I'm so busy. This would be really convenient.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I do feel more energetic. I can't say it's my first time being like, I would love to be more healthy, more fit. This time, it's weird, like going to the gym 4 times a week. isn't a question. It's like it's just what we're doing. It's not, are we gonna go? It's no, it's like breathing. It's, you gotta breathe, this is what we're doing.
Absolutely.
So it's really an interesting journey.
Did we do something different this time though in that
God.
consultation? Did we do something a little different?
We'll get to that consultation. But what I want you to tell me about is, can you tell me about your structure? I understand like every couple of months you go to a new phase, shall I say.
Yes.
Can we talk about that?
So at House of Sweat, we use a periodization. Gym has their particular actual exercise structure. And so ours is called periodization. And periodization is nothing more than breaking workouts into periods of time. I want you to think of it as high school. Okay. So you have grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12. You have to go through the grade 9 sequence, learn what you need to learn, and for grade 10, and then grade 11, and then grade 12.
Step by step.
Step by step.
Right.
And so periodization, the first thing that we look at with an individual is something called function and mobility.
Okay.
How is a person moving, and how can we get them to move better? We're looking at imbalances in their body, which side of their body is stronger than the other, trying to balance the body out, looking at joint function, like what's happening with your ankle, your hips, your shoulders, your knees, everything like that. And then most importantly, we're looking at the brain's connection with the different muscle groups. So if a person's sitting a lot, usually they have dormant glutes, their lower back hurts. We need to start activating those muscles again, right? We need to start working on their core, things of that nature. Once we're gone through that base phase, then we want to go into, and that, by the way, that can be a 6 to 8 week phase on its own. So that could be 2 months on that, just on that. Then the next thing you want to go is into something called a build phase or hypertrophy. And all we're looking to do is start to replace a fat with muscle, starting to get the body toned. And I don't want to get super technical here, but basically we're going to use a certain amount of reps, a certain amount of sets to help that person to build muscle on their body. Usually about 2 to 3 pounds in that phase. The next phase is something called conditioning and fat loss. And that's a phase that I find that ladies and gentlemen pretty much like, reshape the entire body. And so what we're looking to do is now to tap into fat cells and actually basically change the shape of the body. Instead of having your body fueled through carbohydrates, which like it could be like an apple, banana, things of that nature, bread. What we're looking to do is to use the fat cells. So it could be like, now you're feeling, we would ask you to start changing your diet so you can fuel with fat, avocado, butters, those type of things. And so what's happening overall, that is fueling your workout. And now you're going to find that your body just starts to release weight so much easier. Right? And so it's kind of like, what would really work with the conditioning and fat loss phase is like a keto diet, for example, or keto lifestyle, what I would like to say, because you're actually doing that with your conditioning and fat loss. And then keto is based on fueling your body with fats, a high level of fats. And then lastly, that's 4 to 6 weeks by itself. And then lastly, we have something called strength. And strength is what you were doing with your previous trainer, which was high volume and heavy weights, things like that. As I said, that phase is all about making you strong. So it's usually involving multiple joints, multiple muscle groups, doing things that are a little bit unorthodox, like for example, a overhead squat, things of that nature. So that's our system. We build workouts through our online system, our app, to reflect those phases, whether it be functional mobility, building, conditioning of fat loss, and strength. And every single one of those phases have a certain amount of time period that we want to work in them. Usually it's around 6 to 8 weeks, with the exception of conditioning of fat loss, which is 4 to 6 weeks.
So you touched on something, your app. I love your app. So I typically work out with you twice a week.
Absolutely.
And do twice a week with your app and either some sort of cardio machine by myself. Can you just touch on the app really quickly? It's pretty cool.
Thank you so much. The app was created, when we first started as a company, it was actually called Your Fit Body Now. And what the whole thing was, I was trying to replace my time in the gym and become more efficient, because I was training so many clients, I was seeing so many people at the same time, that I was like, this is not efficient for me, time usage, right? So I came up with the idea. I was like, I need to have an app where I can just provide online programs for individuals and not be there. And so a couple of years ago, we stepped into the in-home personal training market from going completely, from being basically online. And with this app, we're able to build that periodization model in that app. So whether it's doing squats, sit-ups, plank, what do you call it, bear crawls, all these things we can actually build into this app step by step. It actually is a 3D animated character that shows you exactly what to do. So if you're a person that hasn't had a lot of experience working out, this is where you get the guidance that you need. It actually speaks to you. It has a James Bond voice, a Sean Connery voice type of thing. So people love it. The clients love it because it just shows you what to do. It counts down for you. It gives you the rest periods. It tells you what weight to use, how much reps to do. So there's no guesswork. It's all there for you.
Can you tell me about the initial assessment? I thought that was pretty interesting.
Our initial assessment, our goal about that initial assessment, I think, just like you've liked it, other clients or prospective clients have liked it as well, because our goal in that initial assessment is to remove all obstacles, any signs of doubt that will be in your mind, anything that could stop you from being successful with your health and fitness routine. We want to deal with it there. And I think if you go to other clubs, other gyms, it's just about a sale. With me, it's like I'm messing around from day one with your mindset, because I know that if I can change your mindset from day one, then you're going to move without me. That's my goal. I don't want to be chasing you. I want you to run up along the side, up the hill.
Alongside me.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And so the whole goal of that initial consultation is obviously to establish goals. We need to get clarity. I think that a lot of people, usually the problem is that there's lack of clarity, right? They don't know exactly what they want. So let's get that down. So let's find out what your goals are, right? Then let's find out what the obstacles that think or perceive have stopped you from being successful, whether it's time, energy, money, why you've not worked with a trainer before. Is it work? We need to figure out what these obstacles and how can we remove these obstacles out of your life. What is your sleep like? What is your stress like? We need to identify what's going on with you on a case-by-case basis. What is your eating like? What have you done in the past for exercise and has it worked for you? We need to identify that things. If you worked with a trainer in the past, what did you like and don't like about the trainer? So we are really basically extracting as much information as possible so that once it comes to, starting on your exercise journey with us, there's nothing that really will stop you. And so it's that simple. And of course, in that process, we show you how our entire program works, right? Including the online software. We show you periodization. We make sure you understand and buy into that model, because if you're not going to buy into the model, then you're not going to see this working for you.
Yeah.
Right? So we want to make sure that it's very clear. It's a very methodical process to make sure that you're successful with the routine. That's pretty much it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So one thing that I really like that we do, but you and I speak a lot of life and a lot of mindset, and it just kind of comes out of the woodworks. I don't think it was necessarily deliberate, though I know he does it with all his clients. But there's two concepts that we talked about that I thought were pretty interesting and I loved. One of which being going back in time. Can you tell me about that?
Oh, we're talking about the pictures?
Yes.
So what I ask clients to do prior to coming to a consultation is to find a picture where they are mentally and physically happy. So something you could reference in the past. Sometimes clients have it, sometimes they don't. But usually there's that one moment in your life that you can remember that you felt the best. I want you to go back to that part, because it's like memory is like your rearview mirror. You want to glance at the past and use that as a future aid. So what I want you to do is, like, when you say your name Chaunyce, or if I say my name Travis, what is it that comes to mind? For most people, when I say that, like, what do you think about when I say your name? They have no picture in their head. What I'm getting you is to associate a picture with your goal, so that when you move now, it's like you say Chaunyce, you have a picture of yourself, you know what you want, you know how to get it. And so that's the purpose of looking at that picture. Our mind thinks in pictures, so we need to give it a picture to reference. If I say car, I say apple, I say banana, I say fridge, there's the word never comes into your head. It's always a picture. Because our mind thinks in pictures, we needed to give it something to reference.
Yes.
Right? So that's just pretty much how it works.
So what we did was, you told me, go back, find 2 to 3 pictures where you aesthetically loved the look of you or would aspire to get back to that.
Absolutely.
And I printed out those pictures and stuck it a little bit of everywhere.
Yep.
In my car, on my fridge, in my laptop, when I wake up. And you know, the thing that I think's the best about it is putting it on the fridge.
Absolutely.
Because when you put it on the fridge, it makes you not want to eat what you want to eat. It makes you kind of stick to your goal a little bit more than reaching for the chocolate.
Yep.
So that was a really good one. The other one that I loved was the actress.
Oh, yes.
Can we talk about that? Or actor, whichever one.
Yeah. So one of my great mentors, Bob Proctor, said that we all act like extras in our own movie. And I was like, wow, that's absolutely true.
I've never thought about it like that.
We're looking at other people's lives and we're acting like we have no control over our lives. Like we're looking at them, comparing ourselves, and like they're the star and we're not the star. So what I said to you was write down the description of what you want for your life and just remember that. Rehearse your lines and go and act. That's it. Be the person before you become the person, and it will be a part of your reality. It's that simple. Just know what you want and go after it. It's as simple. And by writing it down and by going over it over and over, we're burying it into the subconscious mind. And whatever's buried in the subconscious mind is what you'll act in, because the subconscious mind is like a soldier. It does whatever you tell it to do, right? And so automatically, when that's planted in your subconscious mind, you just act. You don't even know sometimes you're moving that way, but because you have these pictures in your subconscious mind, you have these words in your subconscious mind, your body has nothing to do but then to act, right? So you want to become the star in your own movie. That's how you got to do it.
Absolutely.
Simple as that.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming and educating us and just kind of explaining why we're doing what we're doing and how it's going thus far.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Is there anything that we haven't touched on?
The only thing I would say is if you're watching this video right now and you've got a lot of value out of it or some value out of it, please feel free to reach out to myself or my company. You can go to www.houseofsweat.ca and actually book a free consultation with us. I would love to sit down with you and take you through what could potentially look like your fitness journey with us, right? It's that simple. So if you're watching this video, you've got value, do an initial consult with us and see if in-home personal training is the proper fit for you.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, guys. As always like, comment, and share. Bye.